What's going on, everybody? It's Antonio from Ikari Press. We're on the Indiegogo, $66,623. Santana, baby. Triple cover pack is, of course, still ongoing. If you want it, head on over to Indiegogo or just type in IkariPress.com. It'll take you right there. Link, of course, is in the description. All right, so last night, George R.R. Martin put a post up on his blog. I know a lot of people have been asking him to comment on how the season finale of Game of Thrones, or I guess the series finale of Game of Thrones, ended. Did Weiss and Benioff stick the landing? All that. Well, the facts remain. George gave them the ending. So I have no need to think that the ending that we saw on Sunday night was not the ending of Game of Thrones. At least the big parts, i.e. Jon killing Dany, Dany actually becoming the Mad Queen, all that stuff. That part, I believe, is accurate. Maybe some of the stuff with Arya. Maybe even the stuff with Sansa, although the way they have Sansa set up in the book right now, I need to see how that evolution comes, because right now in the books, she's pretending to be someone else, and Littlefinger is still protecting her. Littlefinger's still alive, so we need to see how she's got somebody courting her and all this. There's things going on. So obviously these last 2 seasons really rushed through some plot points, and now Sansa's queen in the north and Bran's the king and all that, so but again, he gave them the ending. So I have to believe that is how the books will end, with some changes. Because Littlefinger kind of went out in a way that I didn't think Littlefinger was going to go out. So that kind of stuff. I feel like that is the stuff that will change. Hopefully better writing will prevail. But this is a good read here. I enjoyed reading this. A lot of the platitudes, thanking, D.B. Weiss and was that David Benioff and all that. Just really going, just talking about the original meeting that he had with them when they were trying to convince him to allow them to have the television rights to Game of Thrones. And one of the things he mentioned was when they had that first, it was supposed to just be a lunch, and they ended up just sitting down for a long lunch that was well into dinner, and they just enjoyed each other's company. And whatever, like I said, Weiss and Benioff, everybody's calling them like Dumb and Dumber now. But those first 4 seasons especially were incredible of Game of Thrones. They were very faithful to the books. Obviously, they changed some characters here and there, but they were very faithful. Thought season 5, season 6, that's where you start getting, because they were running out of material. That's when they started having to kind of make their own ending or whatever. But he mentions a couple of things, because one of the things he talks about here is, let me see here, the directors were incredible as well. I should start naming names, but I'd miss someone. There were so many, but I do need to mention David Benioff, Dan Weiss, Brian Cogman, and this is where he talked about Brian Cogman. A lot of people don't know who Brian Cogman is, but he's been very, very important on Game of Thrones, over the last, almost pretty much the duration of the series. He's extremely important, and he talked about where everybody's going. Obviously, Benioff and Weiss, they've got Star Wars stuff coming up, a trilogy, if I am not mistaken. It's supposed to be a trilogy of Star Wars movies coming up, and I am hearing that it is supposed to be set in the Old Republic. I hope that is the case, because I've been thinking they need to do Old Republic Star Wars for the longest. but he also talked again about Brian Cogman, who he refers to as the third head of the dragon, because Brian doesn't get very much credit. But Brian is over at Amazon now. He signed a big deal with Amazon, and Brian Cogman is going to be very heavily involved in Amazon's Lord of the Rings show. And which that makes sense to me, because a lot of the people because even some of the directors and stuff that worked on some of the bigger episodes of Game of Thrones, they're working on the Game of Thrones prequel, which is shooting right now. I had heard it wasn't supposed to start till maybe like June or July, but they're already shooting. So they're shooting the new Game of Thrones right now, and it's supposed to break like next summer. So I am very much looking forward to seeing that. And I think George is going to be more heavily involved in that, at least maybe the first season or two, because he's saying another thing he talked about was Winds of Winter. Let me get down here, because he really, there's a lot. Like I said, go to George R.R. Martin's website, georgerrmartin.com, and read this. I think, because again, he really breaks some stuff down, but I thought one thing he did say that I thought was interesting, and is he said it was an ending and not the ending. So, I thought that was very interesting. Let me see here. Yeah, let me say this much. Last night was an ending, but it was also a beginning. Nobody is retiring anytime soon. David and Dan are going to Star Wars and other projects beyond that. Amazon scooped up Brian Cogman to put him to work developing shows of his own, as well as their big Tolkien project. Let me see. But he also... Oh, okay, here it goes. Yeah, am I right? And I'm writing. Winter is coming. I told you long ago, and so it is. The Winds of Winter is very late. I know, but it will be done. I won't say when. I've tried that before, only to burn you all and jinx myself. But I will finish it, and then will come a dream of spring. Now, some people had hoped that we might get Winds of Winter by Christmas this year. I don't believe that's happening, because one thing he did say is that the two books combined are going to be 3,000 pages. At least. I don't know how, when he gets to edit. So that's something I was talking about when I did the live stream the other night, because A Dance with Dragons was so big. In fact, over in Europe, they had to split it up into 2 volumes. But over in the U.S., they just released it with like, 1,300 pages, whatever. It's a big book. So between The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring, that's 3,000 pages. So that's what we're going to get. It's both of these books are going to be monster books. You're not going to get 700-800 page books. So I would expect that each book would at least be like 1,500 pages, maybe 14, because obviously he's going to trim stuff down once his editors look at it and everything. But we're definitely not going to get Winds of Winter this year. Be very lucky if we get it next year, because he does so many cons. And he's gonna be helping a little bit on the launch. He obviously wants the new the new Game of Thrones show to be successful, and so he's consulting with that. But let me see. One thing he did mention, why he is saying that their show was an ending and not the ending. He was like, there are characters who never made it onto the screen at all, and others who died on the show, but still alive in the book. So if nothing else, the readers will learn what happened to Jane Poole, Lady Stoneheart, Penny and her pig, Skahaz Shavepate. I know I butchered that. Skahaz Shavepate, Arion Martell, Darkstar, Victorian Greyjoy, Sir Garland the Gallant, Aegon the Sixth. Now, some people were saying Aegon the Sixth is not actually even really a Targaryen. He's somebody else's bastard, but whatever. George has not said that, and since he created it, until he says that Aegon is not really a Targaryen, I guess we will find out. And a myriad of other characters, both great and small, that the viewers of the show never had the chance to meet. And yes, there will be unicorns of a sort. That must be a little nod to Mike S. Miller. Book or show, which will be the real ending? It's a silly question. How many children did Scarlett O'Hara have? How about this? I'll write it, you read it, then everyone can make up their own mind and argue about it on the internet. And that is the end of the post. Again, go to George R.R. Martin's website and read his Not a Blog. I thought this was a pretty decent post here. I know the ending of Game of Thrones was not to everyone's liking. This particular season seemed to strike something in the fan base, but some people were like, they're just passionate because the show's ending. Well, I know I didn't like a lot of the episodes, not just because the show was ending, but because I wanted it to end the right way, and I didn't feel like, I felt like they rushed through it. It could have used, I know the last 2 seasons probably could have used another 6-7 episodes. Just you know, if we could get another 6 or 7 episodes, maybe they could string it out and not have to rush through so much. And I don't know. But overall, I really enjoyed Game of Thrones. Very much looking forward to the prequel and the other 2 shows. One of which I think is a Duncan and Egg show, but who knows. George R.R. Martin speaks, guys. Let me know what you think. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel. Everywhere is at Ikari Press. And if you type in IkariPress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Kanan White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm out.